What is up? There you go. There it is. There it is. There it is. I think we're gonna have to restart the stream deck because the buttons aren't working. Which, you know, if you've been here any amount of time, you know, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. I look hot. Thanks, babe. But you have to say that, unfortunately. But more people get in here, I'm telling you. I have all the proof I need. No, I don't. Yes, you do. You have to be nice to me. I'm your husband. Hold on, let me see something here. I gotta shut down this stream deck and then restart it because the buttons aren't working. Oh, thanks, Bone. Jeez. Stream deck. Here we go. Deck. All right. All right. Is this gonna work now? Boom. Hey, there it is. Okay, so the old restart. I just got it. You had to give her the old restart. How do I sound? Everything sound okay? Everything sound all right. Everything's bumping too. Man eater on both sides. She's like God. She's everywhere. She's in my living room. She's in YouTube. She's in Twitch. There's nowhere man eater isn't. I'm hurting, so I will be burping and sipping on some monsters today. But we definitely have some shit to talk about. As we will every week. And something tells me that for the next 4 years, we're going to have something to talk about. I also got a lot of work to do because I downloaded the VODs for my last 4 streams. So I'm going to go through all of those and see if I make some videos. Jon Stewart, what's going on? I have a video I want to make, and I wish I had wrote it down because I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah. It's gonna be about the next video I'm gonna work on. It's gonna be about it's gonna be about the diversity of Latinos and how I think we're overusing the term. Trump deported a 4-year-old U.S. citizen with cancer. Well, fuck. Four-year-old cancer. Trump officials deny U.S. citizen children were deported to Honduras. 3 U.S. children, one with cancer, deported to Honduras. Lawyers say, and Trump's admin says, "Nah." I'm like, well, they said they didn't, so obviously they didn't. Like, what would they do? Just lie to our face? Yeah. Next video is gonna be about. I think we're overusing the word Latino. I got some shit to say that I'm really trying to figure out how to say it. It's funny. I said it on Threads, and I really thought Mexicans were gonna come for me. And you know who ended up coming for me? A couple of black folks. One dude was super, super adamant that I am anti-black, and I use blackness as a way to like further my agenda, yada yada. I'm like, where are you getting this? Like, do you know me? Do you follow my content? I could just tell by your opinion, da da da. And I'm like, wow. I made an opinion. I gave an opinion, and I really thought Mexicans were going to come for me, and it ended up being not Mexicans. But I'm still trying to like be. I'm trying to be sensitive. I'm trying to be cognizant of the words that I use when I want to talk about this because, I use Mexican as an example because Mexicans are the single biggest Latin population here in the United States, and I would say probably the most different from Caribbean Latinos. You know what I mean? Like, um, there are certain countries that. No, I don't. What? Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I'm reading old shit. Um, there are certain countries that if you are familiar with like Latin communities, um, there's certain like countries, certain people that some are more like country than others, or some are more like Argentinians, super in touch with their Spaniard side, with their European side. If you get my drift, most Europeans are very white, and even the ones that aren't, well, they're all about Spain in a general sense, right? And so whenever I hear about like, oh, Latinos need to get better at this, and Latinos need to do that, and da 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 da, I'm like, I feel like you want to say Mexicans. Like I feel like people want to say Mexicans, and either A, aren't like aware enough to know that there's like a huge difference between like, and when I say like Mexicans, Honduras, like people from like the same region typically are similar to each other. Just like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans are not the same thing, but we're close enough to where the culture like definitely has a lot of overlap, right? And same thing with like people like from like Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, shit like that. And 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 there's just like this whole like I'm like, okay, so here I'll just break it down. I'll just we'll open with this. John Stewart, were you following that? Did you see that on Threads, that back and forth between me and that dude? I wouldn't be disheartened. I wouldn't be disheartened because that's me and that guy, and maybe a couple other people who clearly were misreading what I was saying. Um, but then you got to be like, we got us. You know what I mean? Like not to sound melodramatic, but if that can't be an example of how we're not going to have black and brown solidarity when we got this whole thing here. You know what I mean? We got all of Nerds of Culture. We got what we have here in this community, um, and we know we are in coalition with each other. And so, um, I'm never gonna let haters on the internet make me overgeneralize. And I think that's one of the like this is what a lot of bigoted people, because I do find people like that bigoted. Um, a lot of people who don't realize that, especially when they're on the left or they're part of a marginalized community, that one of the key components of racism and bigotry is overgeneralization. You know what I mean? It is you take the worst of somebody and you say, this is how most of these people are. And and um and that's what that individual was doing. So there was a video out there of what is it called when HB HBCUs, where they fuck, I forget, it's like a thing like when the school starts and all the sororities they got their like their chants, and they do step and all this. What's it called? Um, I think like white colleges call it rush, but I think in HBCUs they call it something else. Um, the Vine Nine, rushing in HBCUs, a period of exploration and recruitment. I guess they call it rush too. But anyways, there's a very specific way that black colleges, historically black colleges, do it, and you know how it is. Just like with band and everything else, you know, the black community is gonna turn up, right? And they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it, and it's gonna be so dope that everybody else is going to is going to want to be that. They're going to look at that and go, I want to be that, which has been true for black Americans since they arrived. So the video then starts off with another university. Everybody in there is Hispanic. If you are familiar with Latin cultures, people wanted to argue with me on this. I don't know why. It's very clear to my eyeballs that they were Central American. They were Mexican. Now, was there other races in there? Could there have been some straight haired, white, light skinned Puerto Rican in there? I'm sure. Well, maybe, but that was predominantly a group of Mexican students, probably out of Arizona or New Mexico, or one of those like nerdy kind of states that aren't known for fashion or anything else, and somebody, and this is the part where I think I fucked up. Somebody correctly said, and the person was Hispanic, and said, "Hey, Latin folks, Latinos, my fellow Latinos," that's where the problem for me starts. Stop co-opting Black culture, and do your own thing, especially if you're going to do it worse. How about you start co-opting Black culture by getting out there and voting, getting out there and doing protests? So that message was valid. And I think that's where I kind of made a mistake, where I did kind of like as an aside say, of course, if you're not Black, stop saying the N-word and get out there and protest. But my thing was for mainly the creator and go, why are you saying Latinos stop doing this when A, there's Black Latinos, and B, that's not Latinos, that's Mexicans. There's literally all Mexicans in that lineup. Like, what are you putting that on? Why do Cubans have to account for that? Why do Puerto Ricans have to account for that? Why do Chileans have to account for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a group of Mexicans there in that college, so call them out. You know what I mean? And so I think what had happened was, instead of it looking like, hey, stop overusing or overgeneralizing when you say, Latino, some people thought I had a problem with the co-opting Black culture, as if that's not a thing that happens or that's a thing that I was defending. You just saw notification. Okay, better late than never. They're only a few minutes late. Twitch is getting a little better. Appreciate you swinging by. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So that was frustrating. So I think my next video is going to be about that. It's going to be, there is a, like, I wish I could think of an analogy for like Black Americans or the Black diaspora in general. Like, imagine there was a thing that you saw, and it was a video that was in Jamaica, and this is a thing that Jamaicans are doing, right? It doesn't happen like that everywhere else, but that Jamaicans do this. And then somebody takes that thing, and it's full of Jamaicans, and goes, man. And let's say it's a Black creator. Let's say, that way, don't put anything else on it. Let's say it's a Black creator. It's not Candace Owens, nothing like that. And the Black creator is like, Black folks, we need to be better. We need to be better. Wouldn't everybody? Okay, they're Black, but those are Jamaicans. Why are you saying Black folk? That's what I was getting at. So I want to be like, I want to like make a video that's gonna be like, hey, I'm down to be in solidarity with my fellow Latinos, my fellow Hispanics. I'm not doing this gatekeeping, and I'm not trying to other myself as if I'm better or nothing. We are all, we share a common colonizer, that's Spain and Portugal, and I got it. But let's stop saying, like, hey, Latinos, we need to be better at this. You know what I mean? Like when you, like voting, for example. Do you think Afro-Latinos had the same voting record as white Latinos? But when you sit there and you look at the way Latinos voted in general, it looks pretty doo-doo water. They even have a bump towards Trump. Matter of fact, I was hoping, because this is how transparent I am with y'all. I did a little research, and I was hoping that, because it was to this point about the whole overgeneralization thing, and I decided to dig in to see Puerto Rican voting habits versus Mexican voting habits. Now, because I'm a very transparent and honest guy, I will let you know that Puerto Ricans also saw a bump in Trump votes. As a matter of fact, percentage wise, a bigger bump than Mexicans even. So I'm like, all right, can't go that route. But I still hold, look at Afro Latinos voting record, and they match Black Americans voting record, right? So why do Black Latinos have to sit there and hear Latinos as if they're not one? You know what I'm saying? I understood your point, but it came across to me as more people thinking you were splitting hairs and diverting from the issue that was originally posted. I like it to the man versus bear. I mean, I understand that women feel a way about men, but I'm not one of those men. Okay. Well, here, and I want you to be honest. Did you feel that way? Because random person on the internet feels like it sounds like you're trying to divert from the actual real point. Okay, you don't know me, you don't know my shit. But somebody who like knows my content, watches my streams, and feels that way, I would respect a lot more. I'd be like, all right, maybe I need to check myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, okay, no, okay, bet. All right, I'll go back to being mad at that other dude then. But just know that. Hey, just know that. I know there are people out there who don't like criticism. Just hey, I want everybody here to understand this right here. Let me tell you all something about me. There are people out there who do not like being called out. Um, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of it. It doesn't always feel good, but you'll never see me like flip my shit or do anything stupid if you're like if I do a foul, you know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be that bad. If you're like, hey, uh, the way you said that, I just want to let you know it made me feel some kind of way. If I know you're a regular and you feel that way, please, by all means, you could DM me, you could put it in chat. It doesn't matter. Let me know. Let me know, because I'm sure I'll fuck up. I'm sure there'll be something I say that makes somebody go, "The fuck you just say?" you know, and maybe I need to be checked, and I'm not above getting checked. Um, da, 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 da. Let me start from the top. Bone Factory in here asking why hasn't anybody liked this yet. The first one inside the YouTube chat, a real one, Maneater, coming in. John Stewart's here. Liberty Twitcher, and a lot of Americans aren't sophisticated enough to know that Latinos come from many countries. In fact, some still call Latinos Spanish. I got one better for you. A lot of Latinos still call themselves Spanish. I'm like, what? Bro, stop it. Screwface Capone, what's going on? Imagine thinking an Afro Puerto Rican would think the same way as a white Cuban. Thank you. It's almost like there's like totally different material conditions, totally different cultures. CE Rouse, Howdy Robo, Left Face TV, and the Left Brigade. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think we found it. Now I gotta think of like the open welcome. What's up, Left Brigade? Right, something like that. I'll work on it. We'll workshop it. I'll throw some shit out, and then y'all tell me if it works. I like that. Left Brigade. Left TV, where the revolution will not be televised, it will be downloaded. The revolution will be live streamed on Twitch, YouTube, and Bigo. Is that a new one? Bigo? I'll slide into your DMs if you want. Don't tell me what a good time. Sig Fang, Architect of Sin. Someone is using critical thinking. That's illegal. You must face my hammer. You could be the new Hassan Piker. Look, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. I mean, I want to be real. I wouldn't want. When I say I don't want to be, we know. It's gonna be me. When I hear Basal, I mean like those numbers, that kind of reach. Okay, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. And I'm not even lying. I'm not even doing the whole like I'm not even doing the whole like like trying to be humble or I don't want no. I think that would cause some major anxiety, honestly. Um, to like have an opinion and have your opinion be in the New York Post. Come on, honestly, my ceiling, like where I want to be, is Ernie is blurred. Like, get me. I want 100,000 subs. I want a couple hundred people in the chat. That's cool. I'll have my core people. There'll be mods. Like, that's cool. Like, I like that. You gotta say something and know 40,000 motherfuckers are listening to you. I don't know. I don't know. Next week I'll be on day shift, not night shift. Hopefully I can make more shows. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I always love your inputs. Roland Martin status for Robo. He's bigger. No, he's bigger. He's way bigger than 100K, right? I mean, he has to be. Is he bigger than Hassan? Because he does like network shit too, doesn't he? Look, I'll get famous for my politics. You're gonna get famous for your Ren Fair outfits. That's what you're gonna get famous for. And that jawline. All right, what are we talking about today? We're gonna go through some shit. We're gonna also talk a little bit about not letting yourself get caught up in the fear. Okay, no notifications, but you have to like. There's an at everyone that comes up on content alerts. Here, listen. This is what I tell people. Here's something for y'all. I mute
F-35
all servers that I'm in.
Jets.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
Even if it's right next to it, it can't see.
Dot.
Thank you so much. What was that? Smoke One Kenobi with a Prime sub. 1 year. Yeah. Whoop. Got him. That's what's up. Been subscribed for 12 months. Got that gold flower on the shit. No, wait. You should have a white flower, don't you? Say something in Twitch. I appreciate you. Shit. What was I saying now? Oh yeah. There's things that we need to make sure that we stay on top of. There's things that we got to be aware of. We don't want to be caught sleeping for sure, but we got to be able to use some critical thinking and make sure we're not falling for the stuff that the news. I mean, the news is still trying to sell shit. So, we're gonna watch a quick video because chaos erupts as Democratic Senator humiliates Ted Cruz on live TV. Articles of impeachment have been filed. So now the House of Representatives are going to have to vote. I don't see that passing. A lot of this stuff seems symbolic. News anchor off of 60 Minutes called out ABC and Paramount on show. So we'll see how much longer they have going. Canada is voting right now. Tonight is the Canadian elections. They're happening and the polls are coming in. It looks like the Liberal, which is like, center left. Basically, the way their shit works is it's different, but look, they're not a two-party system. There's a parliamentary style, but the Liberal and the Conservatives run shit just like the Republicans and the Democrats run shit. And of course, the New Democrats are just even more left than that. And then they have seats, but blah blah blah. We'll get into it. Then we're going to get into some executive orders that have come down. Truckers have to speak English. So that won't affect the supply chain at all. Just remember, the economy, we're going to be so wealthy. What's going to be great. We're going to make all this money. And every decision that I make is going to be a culture war decision. And it's going to wreck our economy. Judges have been arrested. Yes. There is another one out there that people are thinking is a preamble to martial law. We'll talk about that when it comes out. Meals on Wheels. If you ever had anyone elderly in your life, who couldn't get out and was disabled. They probably got food from Meals on Wheels, and Trump budget cuts are threatening that program. Jalen Hurts being a mensch. Musk is out. I do want to hear Stephen A. Smith. That guy, I don't even know if I want to call him a lib. Like he's a center something. I don't know. He's always bragging about how he has friends on the left and the right and blah blah blah. But he did have something to say about Candace Owens, so I don't know what that something is, but I have it queued up and I kind of want to see it. And then someone brought up earlier, and we have the headline ready: 3 U.S. citizens, 3 U.S. citizen children, one with cancer, deported to Honduras, lawyers say. And if we get through that enough, we'll watch a little bit. Brain rot. We'll do. If anybody has like a favorite like person inside Pop the Balloon or something, they're like, oh, you got to watch this one type shit. Then we'll do that. But until that time, he's a blowhard for the most part. Yeah, see you rouse.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
Even if it's right next to it, it can't see.
Yay, I win.
Yes, you do win. You win no ads. That's what's up. Welcome to the Left Brigade. Well, you're in the Left Brigade anyway, right? So I gotta get follows. Welcome to the Left Brigade. See you rouse. That's the one. I like it. It flows. That's really what it's all about. It's the flow of the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these had too many syllables. Welcome to the Left Brigade. Money. All right. You know how we started. After I'm done bullshitting, we go ahead and start our night with some Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. At least 68 African migrants have been killed in a U.S. airstrike in Yemen. Houthi media outlets report the U.S. bombed a detention center in the western province of Sada. Another 47 migrants were injured in the attack. A separate U.S. attack killed at least 8 people in the capital, Sana'a. The Pentagon says it's carried out 800 strikes on Yemen since March 15th after Houthi fighters vowed to resume targeting ships in the Red Sea in an attempt to pressure Israel to end its war and blockade on Gaza. In Gaza, Israeli attacks have killed 23 Palestinians so far today after Israel forces killed at least 53 people Sunday, including 6 who were killed when Israel bombed a cafe near the Nuseirat and Burej refugee camps. Meanwhile, the World Food Program's announced it's run out of food to distribute in Gaza due to Israel's 2-month-long blockade. Earlier today, the International Court of Justice began a 5-day hearing on Israel's obligations to provide aid to Gaza. Palestinian envoy Ammar Hijazi accused Israel of using humanitarian aid as weapons of war.
That's really the heart of why Palestine and over 40 other states are addressing the court today. It is not about the number of aid trucks Israel is or is not allowing into the occupied Palestinian territory, especially Gaza. It is not about Israel destroying it is about Israel destroying the fundamentals of life in Palestine while it blocks UN and other humanitarians from providing life-saving aid to the population. It is about Israel unraveling fundamental principles of international law, including their obligations under the UN Charter. It is about Israel turning Palestine, in particularly Gaza, into a mass grave for Palestinians and those coming to their aid.
On Sunday, Israeli fighter jets bombed Beirut's southern suburbs again. The UN and Lebanese officials condemned the strike, with Lebanon's president warning Israel's actions are undermining stability in the region. In Canada, police have charged a man with murder for the car-ramming death of 11 people during a music festival in Vancouver Saturday evening. It took place during the annual Lapu-Lapu festivities, which celebrate the Filipino community and culture. The victims ranged in age from 5 to 65. Dozens were wounded. This is a local community member.
it's kind of like you can be strong and weak at the same time. And, you know, the efforts with gathering with not just the Filipino community, but everybody. And if you've been to a Filipino event or organizer, there is a saying called isang baksak. And it means when one falls, we all fall. But again, when one rises, we all rise.
No motive for the mass killing has been identified, but authorities say the suspect, 30-year-old Kaiji Adam Low, has a history of mental health-related interactions with Vancouver police. The tragedy came just 2 days ahead of high-stakes snap elections in Canada. Voters today will decide between the ruling Liberal Party, now led by Justin Trudeau's successor, Prime Minister Mark Carney, and Pierre Poilievre, who leads the Conservatives. He had been leading in the polls when Trudeau stepped down in January, but Carney's defiant response to Trump's tariffs and his threats to annex Canada have helped propel the Liberals' chances of staying in power.
This is a great example of how, you know, Trump and really Trump supporters love just, you know, just shooting themselves in the dick, because this dude was riding on that nationalism and racist bullshit that Trump is on. So they surged, because people forget. People love to talk about how liberal and lefty Canada is, and they have, you know, national health care and yada yada yada. There's a lot of racist people up there, and a lot of mass burial, mass grave sites of Indigenous people to prove it. And here he is, and why does he lose in the polls? Why is he dipping? Because Trump wants to be a dumbass and talk about, you know, annexing the Canada and then the tariffs war and everything else. So thank you for hitching your wagon to an anchor.
On Saturday, hundreds of thousands of mourners gathered at the Vatican for the funeral of Pope Francis, who died last week at the age of 88. During the eulogy, Cardinal Giovanni Battista remembered Pope Francis as a pope of the people and a peacemaker.
Di fronte all'infuriare di tante guerre di questi anni,
faced with the raging wars of recent years, with their inhuman horrors and countless deaths and destruction, Pope Francis insistently raised his voice, imploring peace and calling for reason and honest negotiation to find possible.
I just noticed this, Boom Factor. Is there any anti-Trump conservatives you actually listen to? No, I don't. I find anti-Trump conservatives to be probably the least useful as far as like things I want to hear. I was driving around the other day and was listening to Sean Hannity, actually, because that is the thoughts. That is from the mind of the people I find dangerous. To listen to a bunch of like Lincoln Project types that think they're like the middle ground and they're, you know, they're really just get it. I'm not a fan of the enlightened centrist bullshit. Good morning, good evening. More religious leaders are speaking out about what happened, what I miss. Please don't let next pope be an anime style pope. Yeah, the next pope is gonna be like, he's gonna be straight out of what is it? Nocturne. Now, what was the first one? Castlevania? Oh, is it just called Castlevania, right? Was it called something?
Possible solutions. War, he said, is only the death of people and the destruction of homes, hospitals, and schools.
More than 50 world leaders attended the Pope's funeral, including President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Oh, you're talking about speaking out against Trump? Yeah. How could you not? And how has it taken this long to do so? That's what's wild. It's not surprising they're doing it. Is that how the hell did it take this long?
The two met at the Vatican prior to the funeral. The meeting came a day after Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin. On Sunday, Trump expressed disappointment with Putin for continuing to attack.
Oh, now he wears a suit. Oh, he can wear a suit for the Pope, the Antichrist, but not for God Trump? Wow.
Ukraine while refusing to agree to a U.S. broker deal to end the war in Ukraine. Earlier today, Putin announced a unilateral 3-day ceasefire in Ukraine beginning May 8th. On Sunday, Russia fired nearly 150 drones at Ukraine, killing at least 4 people. Meanwhile, North Korea has confirmed for the first time it had sent combat troops to fight alongside Russian forces. The Trump administration is escalating its attack on judges. On Friday, FBI agents arrested a county judge in Milwaukee, Hannah Dugan, who was charged with obstruction and concealing an individual from arrest. The FBI accused her of allegedly helping an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest inside a Wisconsin courthouse. The judge's arrest was widely criticized. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin said, quote, "This action fits into the deeply concerning pattern of this president's lawless behavior and undermining courts and Congress's checks on his power," unquote. The FBI director, Kash Patel, is facing accusations he broke DOJ policy by posting a photo online of Judge Dugan in handcuffs. On Saturday, protesters rallied in Milwaukee to protest the Trump administration's crackdown on immigrants and the arrest of Judge Dugan.
We are out here today with a message for the FBI, for the DOJ, for President Trump himself. And that message is, drop the charges, stop the raids, stop the deportations. We are also out here with a message for Judge Hannah Dugan. And that message is, we have your back.
In related news, federal agents in New Mexico have arrested a former judge, Jose Luis Cano, and his wife. They've been accused of tampering with evidence linked to a former tenant who the government claims is a member of a Venezuelan gang. In other immigration news, the Trump administration's deported to Honduras 3 U.S. citizen children, including a 4-year-old boy who's actively receiving treatment for...
I'm telling you, they're hoeing me. They don't want me to be great, Rough Rider.
A rare form of stage 4 cancer. The boy was removed with a 7-year-old sister who's also a U.S. citizen and their mother. In a separate case, the U.S. deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen with her mother. In that case, U.S. District Judge Terry Doughty said the girl was sent away, quote, with no meaningful process. The judge was Trump appointed. Meanwhile, ICE has conducted a number of high-profile immigration raids. In Florida, ICE worked with local officials to detain nearly 800 people. Meanwhile, in Colorado Springs, ICE agents raided a nightclub and made over 100 arrests this weekend. In other immigration news, protesters rallied outside the Charles Schulz Airport in Santa Rosa, California.
So I just had no faith in these protests anymore. So so let me do a little bit of political education here. There's mobilization, and then there's organizing, right? When organizing is what you're doing when you're trying to make change. That's when you are, some people write bills and submit them to their congressman, to hopefully get presented to the floor. Some people, try to get changes made to existing laws. However you organize, there's mobilization and there's organizing. I think the problem with people who do a lot of protests is there's a lot of protesting that happens without organizing. But then you have organizing that gets no movement behind it. People don't even know it's happening because there's no mobilization. And so that's something that we're kind of talking about in the DSA chapter that I'm a part of the board, and we're talking about. We know protesting doesn't do anything in and of itself, right? But what protesting does is it's like a bullhorn. It's like a message out to the people to say, hey, there are other people angry here. But then what you want to do is you want to be able to capitalize, for lack of a better word, on that movement, on that rally, to say, hey, do you see how we're all upset here? Join this organization. We have a meeting to try to. We're gonna have speakers at the local town hall. We need help building a mutual aid site. We need help building a community garden, a taillight repair clinic. Like there's these things that can go out there that can actually affect change. You know what I mean? Let's just go back to something easy. Black Panthers. Did the Black Panthers and the Black community protest? Yes, they did. But were they successful in what they did because of protesting? No. The protesting was just to scream out to the public, we're here and you can't ignore us. And by the way, allies who heard that too and said, yeah, I'm angry too, and marched with them, then you take those people and we start free lunches in your school, and we start a community watch program, and we do things that are as a result of the mobilization. Protest without movement is slacktivism. Exactly. It is too easy to go out there on a Sunday afternoon with the sign to hold up deportation is bad business, and then go home. And when they say, "What have you done?" Well, I was out there protesting. Okay. So what organizing have you done? What organization are you a part of? What are you did the movement, you got the word out, now what? So you're right. You're right to say I don't have faith in protest anymore. I just want to make sure everybody, understands that it's not because the protests are ineffective. It's because nobody wants to do the work in organizing that's supposed to happen after it.
Saturday to protest Avalo Airlines, which recently signed a deal to work with ICE on deportation flights. In a major reversal, the Trump administration's restored the ability of thousands of international students to study in the United States, at least for now. The Trump administration had been sued at least 65 times for terminating the status of students in a database called SEVIS, the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System. It's unclear how many students may have already left the country after the government changed their status. ABC reports some of the targeted students had supported pro-Palestine protests, but many had not.
Wow.
At least 46 people have died after a massive explosion at one of Iran's main ports Saturday. The blast injured over 1,000 people. Iranian authorities have not said yet what caused the blast. In January, the Financial Times reports ships carrying missile fuel were headed to the port from China. The blast occurred as the U.S. and Iran were holding a third round of talks over Iran's nuclear program. Indian authorities have detained at least 1,500 people in India-administered Kashmir and razed the homes of suspected Kashmiri militants as fears mount over a larger conflict between India and Pakistan following the massacre last week of 26 people in the resort town of Pahalgam. India has accused the Pakistani government of backing the perpetrators of the massacre, but Islamabad has rejected any involvement. Soldiers from India and Pakistan have continued to exchange gunfire along the barrier separating Kashmir between the two nuclear-armed nations. The Sudan Doctors Network reports at least 31 people, including children, were executed by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces in Omdurman in what the group called a war crime and a crime against humanity. Omdurman is the sister city to the capital, Khartoum, which the Sudanese army reclaimed control over last month after 2 years of a devastating civil war. Separately, at least 11 people were killed in an RSF drone attack Friday at a displacement camp in River Nile State. Meanwhile, the UN reports at least 480 civilians were killed in Sudan's North Darfur over the 2-week period starting April 10th, though the actual number is expected to be much higher. The UN also reports widespread sexual violence, including during the deadly attack on the Zamzam displacement camp between April 11th and 13th. Many rape victims are children. Numerous deaths have also been caused by hunger, shortages of water, or lack of medical care. The UN's described Sudan as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Protests continued Sunday in New York over a visit by Israel's far-right security minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who was once convicted for incitement to racism and support for a terrorist organization. On multiple occasions, supporters of Ben-Gvir attacked protesters and bystanders while chanting "Death to Arabs" in Hebrew. On Thursday, a mob of over 100 men surrounded and attacked a Brooklyn woman who lived nearby after they assumed she was a pro-Palestinian protester.
If I remember correctly, she ended up not being a Palestinian. Well, this might not be the same one, but there was a similar event, and they were actually Israeli, which lets you know how much about white supremacy, Jewish, right? That how much about white supremacy this is. People want to say it's not. Right? No, this is different. This is more than white supremacy. No, the fuck it's not. Not when all these motherfuckers come from Europe. It's not an accident that the people in power in Israel are all Ashkenazi Jews. You know what I mean? Let me know when there's an Ethiopian Jew as the Prime Minister of Israel. Call me. I'll be holding my breath till then. Talking about this is not about white supremacy.
In Los Angeles, student activists at Occidental College ended their hunger strike Friday after the school's administrators called the Los Angeles police and campus security to violently crack down on peaceful protesters outside the inauguration of Occidental President Tom Stritikis. Students had been demanding Occidental protect its students from immigration authorities and renounce any ties to Israel's war in Gaza. The hunger strikers say Occidental has agreed to certain measures supporting immigrant and international students. In a setback for press freedom, Attorney General Pam Bondi has rescinded a Biden-era policy that aimed to protect journalists in most cases from being forced to hand over their phone records in leak investigations. In a memo, Bondi described the conduct of government leakers as treasonous. In other media news, longtime 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley rebuked CBS's parent company Paramount at the end of Sunday night's broadcast of 60 Minutes. This came days after the show's top.
If they don't show it here, we'll watch the video after this. This is good. This is the kind of shit we need from with Bravery. The type of shit we haven't even seen from some of the people out there who work for TYT. You know, when their partners get fired and they won't even do this. And this is to CBS and Paramount.
Top producer Bill Owens resigned, saying he no longer could make independent decisions about the show. This is a part of Scott Pelley's remarks.
Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires.
Expelled Republican Congressmember George Santos was sentenced Friday to more than 7 years in prison for wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. The disgraced former New York Republican Congressmember was ousted from the House in 2023 after less than a year in office. His brief political career was defined by numerous fabrications about his personal and professional life and campaign finance fraud. And Virginia Giuffre, an outspoken survivor of sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein, has died by suicide at age 41.
Damn.
She was the first survivor to come out publicly against Epstein, as well as his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. She also pursued Prince Andrew for sexually assaulting her when she was 17. The disgraced prince was forced to step away from his royal duties in Britain and settled with Giuffre in 2022. In a statement, Giuffre's family said, quote, Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, they said. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm sure the massive amount of support that she received is had nothing to do with it. Yeah, at least Epstein's ass is gone too. True. All right. Well, since she just talked about it, let's watch this real quick. I wanna see. It's a minute 45, so 43. I think this shit is. If I watch his reporting, maybe he's a lib, I don't know, but this is the type of shit people need to be willing to do. You have to be willing to speak truth to power. You cannot let your corporate overlords have you sell your soul. You know, I would rather.
In tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. Bill was with CBS News nearly 40 years, 26 years at 60 Minutes. He covered the world, covered combat, the White House. His was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along. I'm Scott Pelley. We'll be back next week with another edition.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I don't know how they it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. You know, this thing is, oh wait. See, I don't know how this shit works. So I'm pretty sure we're the only dumbasses who do electoral college. So this is just going to be popular vote only. The other thing is that much like the United States, this area right here has like 4 people in it. Plurality of the vote. There you go. So this area here, like from like here to here, have like 6 people. So we still got, you know, we'll look at places that are heavily populated, like Quebec, Toronto, and believe it or not, this is important to us. Now, as Americans, well, shit, I speak for myself. I've never known that a Canadian election was happening, much less who was running, much less who won, until some news referenced them. But I think we're in a time where this is going to matter. Because if that Pierre dude were to come in, we have somebody to the north of us who wants to be on Trump's team. And now we have an entire North American continent, well, minus, you know, Mexico, that are, you know, have the same sort of ideology. So, would I rather center left? Of course, I would rather center left. Somebody who's willing to stand up to Trump and be that, because Canada is a country just like Mexico that can absolutely affect how we do business. Be like, okay, bet you're not allowed to use our water. You know, like that fucks people. You're not allowed to, we're not going to provide electricity from the dam that we own that goes to 4 states. You know, shit like that. Shit like that. Craziness to the north. That I'll go from in Mexico. Awesome. Lo Tigre, what's going on? El Cifer. But we'll keep an eye on this because I think this is important. All right, let's see. Okay, now y'all know I fucking hate this guy. I hate this dude. Man, I hate this guy so much. We're mad at everybody. We're just mad. Fuck everybody. You know how like there's people who you think are like bad people, and then there's people that you want to see physical harm done to. This is one of those dudes who has like a demeanor and the way he laughs and smiles, like I want to see him hurt. I don't want to hurt him, but if somebody sent me a video of him getting hurt, it would make my day. It would make my day brighter, you know? It'd be like getting sent flowers. You're like, oh, somebody sent me a video of Ted Cruz getting hit by a bus. It was so beautiful, I almost cried. That's how it would be. And sometimes it's just like that. You know what I mean? Like JD Vance. JD Vance is another person that I just fucking cannot stand. Like I understand Trump, you know, because of his position and what he does is more, it should be worse. I should hate Trump more, but I don't. I hate JD Vance worse. And it's mainly because of his face. So if Pierre Polivieri thinks Trump will give him favor, he's got another thing coming. Oh, I know. That's how most of it, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what's going to happen. You know, he has his cabinet, right? So those people, you know, those people got in good. but he already knows who he's gonna put in. He already knows who's gonna get the hookups and who's not. He will not respect the Canadian Prime Minister who's trying to kiss his ass. But the picture of Cruz phone begging for Trump after shitting on his wife was yeah. That shit is awesome. He fucking called your wife ugly. He's like, yeah, hey, what's going on? I hope he wins. Like, what a bitch. Okay, let's watch him get humiliated.
After Ted Cruz lost his argument to Senator Amy Klobuchar, he had to walk out in shame.
But I'll spoil it.
We just heard the senator from Rhode Island talk about the imperative of protecting judges. And yet not a single Democrat senator cared about the violent protesters that showed up outside Supreme Court justices' homes, including, I might note, female justices like Justice Amy Coney Barrett, threatening their family, and Joe Biden's attorney general didn't do a damn thing and refused to enforce the law to protect those judges. Why? Because he agreed with the violent protesters and he wanted to intimidate and threaten those judges.
So we have judges getting arrested, and that is likened to protesting out on the public street by where they live. Is that what I'm getting? Is that what I'm understanding correctly? Interesting.
Professor Bray, under our Constitution, who should decide elections, the voters or unelected judges?
The voters are the ones who should vote in the election according to the laws, and the laws sometimes have to be applied by the judges if there are cases.
And under our Constitution, who is charged with making policy decisions? Elected representatives elected by the people or unelected federal judges?
I think the question of policy, Senator, is a little broader than the particular case. So the laws should be enacted by Congress. That's where the fountain of law.
Policy decisions are the elected branches.
Right.
Law is the province of the court. Policy is the province of the elected branches. These are not complicated. Professor Bray, let me ask you this. Do the federal courts have power to issue remedies for people who are not parties to a case?
That's a question I agree is not complicated. They do not have that power.
Is the phrase nationwide injunction or universal injunction found anywhere in the Constitution?
It is not.
First chart. In the first 150 years of our republic, how many nationwide injunctions were issued?
My view is that there were not any until 1963.
Zero. Now fast forward. How many nationwide injunctions were issued in the entire 20th century?
It's a small number. I would think it would be a dozen, give or take. It's not large.
27, actually. Excluding Trump's first term, how many nationwide injunctions were issued in the last 20 years?
Far more than that.
32. From 2001 to 2024 against Biden, Obama, and Bush, 32. And how many nationwide injunctions have been issued in the last 2 months alone?
There have been quite a few.
37. Let that sink in. There have been more nationwide injunctions in the past 2 months against President Trump than in the entire 20th century. There have been more nationwide injunctions against President Trump in the last 2 months.
So it seems like, and I have a feeling I know where Klobuchar is going to go with this. Could that be a reflection of just how fucking bad Donald Trump is at his job? Like, just how corrupt and defunct Donald Trump is as a president of the United States? The fact that he is so bad at his job that courts have had to do something 37 more times to a thing that hadn't been done, that many times for the entire 20th century.
Then both terms of George W. Bush, both terms of Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's term.
Exactly.
We saw during the Biden presidency lawfare, indicting President Trump 4 times.
It's never. What's good for the goose is never good for the gander at all. It's never that way. They live by that, by the way. They absolutely live by that. Who's that that dude who looks like a fucking elderly turtle? He was the majority speaker. Fuck, man, I can't remember his name. Anyways, that dude was sitting there blocking Mitch McConnell. Thank you. Asmongold. Mitch McConnell. Say Asmongold. Mitch McConnell. Thank you. That dude was out there standing on his desk, jumping up and down, talking about how, Obama cannot appoint these judges during this time, blah, 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 but then does the same exact thing and says, why you're not supposed to stop Trump from being able to do this? Moscow Mitch,
using the machinery of justice to attack him, and that was an attack on democracy, because Democrats today hate democracy. Democrats today are angry at the voters for re-electing Donald Trump and electing a Republican Senate and a Republican House, and they engaged in lawfare to stop democracy from operating.
And yet, we have Donald Trump backing and setting into precedents, attacking law firms that engage in lawsuits to correct the law. Okay. Okay. Make it make sense.
Understand, this is the second phase of lawfare, second chart. This is the second phase of lawfare. Now that their efforts to indict President Trump and stop the voters from re-electing him have failed, they're going and seeking out individual radical judges to try to shut down policies.
He put up a pie chart that shows exactly how bad Trump is at his job. That's embarrassing. Like, if I were Trump, I'd be pissed right now. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like if you were talking about your friend and everybody kept calling your friend ugly and you stood up to defend him and you're like saying like, hey, it is perfectly okay that my friend is ugly. Yeah, he might not get any bitches. Yeah, he might stink a little. Yeah, he's like, he just not doing all this shit, but he's an awesome person. He's like, he puts up a whole ass sign talking about how bad Trump is at his job. Look at all the times judges had to come in and save this country from Donald Trump.
That they are forum shopping.
That's right.
Like crazy. Give me any loon judge put on the bench by Obama or Biden who disagrees with the policy. We just saw a judge flagrantly ignore U.S. immigration law concerning TPS being revoked. U.S. law explicitly said there's no judicial review for that, but hey, they found a judge who says, you know what? We, the Democrat Party, we are the party of illegal aliens. We are the party of murderers and rapists and gang members, and the Democrat Party exists here to fight to keep murderers and rapists and gang members in your communities. There's a reason the Democrat Party is at 26% approval nationwide, because they put radical policies ahead of rule of law.
Literally the opposite. Like, exactly the opposite. If it was about them being radical, then their approval numbers wouldn't be. If being to the center, right, to being center left, if being moderates is what Democrats had to do to win, they would never lose.
Nationwide injunctions are an abuse of power.
Yes.
It is the judiciary acting as political judges who are trying to overturn the election because they disagree with what the
then
voters
we're almost
decided.
there.
Thank you, Senator.
Right, man, that's a perfect. That's the look. Whoever does the time limits for the speeches is perfect because right as I'm like through, like I'm already like, okay. You know, like my ADHD cannot handle this. Thank you, sir. That's all the time you have. Thank God.
Senator Cruz. Senator Klobuchar.
Okay, that was a lot.
It gets me it gives me the same feeling when I was in church as a kid, and every time the sermon was done, at the end of the sermon, my pastor would go, "Bow your head in prayer." Right? And so like he's done with the prayer. He's gonna close it up with a prayer. You do not know the amount of serotonin I received. Like I had this rush of happiness. I was always an atheist. I just didn't know it. Whenever the pastor would go, "Bow your head in prayer," I'm like, oh, thank God. Yeah, we're about to go home.
Let me start with a few things. Number one.
Wait. What is she saying? She started off with shade.
Start with a few things.
Senator Klobuchar.
Okay, that was a lot. Let me start with a few things. Number one.
Right.
We love the democracy, and I believe what we should be having is a civil debate about how we can best, if Donald Trump wants to make changes to the government, we should be doing it in a legal way, not how he's doing it. And the only reason there's all these injunctions, Senator Cruz, is because he's violating the Constitution. Why would Trump-appointed judges...
Why don't you file them in red districts?
Senator Cruz.
Why... What did you just say?
Why don't you file them in red districts? Why are the Democrat attorneys general seeking out
Senator Cruz,
left-wing,
my
blue,
esteemed
single
colleague,
Quite patient with Senator Cruz's activities in this building.
Senator Whitehouse.
He's entitled to...
I'm just going to ask for a point of order. Madam Klobuchar, Senator Klobuchar.
Senator Moody, we have debates on this committee. They occur regularly.
Let's let her have her time, and then we'll get back to that. If you want to wait, we'll get back to you, Senator Cruz.
She's welcome
Senator
to answer the
Klobuchar,
question or
go
not.
ahead.
It's her choice.
Go ahead.
I'm so
and I would
excited
encourage
to
you
be
to answer.
following Senator Cruz once again.
Excuse me?
But I will say
Excuse me? I didn't hear you. What did you say?
To be following him. He and I have a
I was permitting you your time to continue. To be following him in order. Excuse me. Go ahead, Senator Klobuchar.
During hearing.
Dang. Excuse me? I'll fight right fucking and just taking off your earrings and shit. About Trump. I mean about Ted Cruz. Oh, sorry. Let me put these back on. My bad. I have all brothers. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
That's
Senator
what I'm
Klobuchar.
referring to.
Go ahead.
And I will take more than my time, since he's taken more than his time to yell at me.
Go
So
ahead.
what I
I'll
will
mark the
say
time.
is that
I'm not yelling. I asked a question.
Senator Cruz, please. I'll give you time. Senator Klobuchar, I've got the time, and you'll be allotted
I
time.
am making the strong case that the reason all these cases have been filed, and the reason that these judges who have been appointed by Ronald Reagan, yes, they still exist, and the Bushes and Donald Trump, judges appointed by Donald Trump.
Remember, if you're appointed by Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, if you file something against Donald Trump, you are a leftist, communist, anti-government. Like that's it. Like just. And if that's the case, wouldn't that mean they're just bad judges of character?
Have been making these decisions is because
Man,
this is not
yeah,
legal.
I'm telling you, the true hero. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think I would make a very good politician. You know, have you all ever seen those videos where like the cop takes off his gun belt and says, "Fuck it, let's do this"? There was a judge who did the same thing, like got into a fight with a lawyer. Do you remember that shit? He said, "Step out into the hallway," and the judge got fired. There was a fucking judge who was going back with the lawyer and said, "Meet me in the hallway," and they went and had a real fucking fist fight, and the judge got disbarred, got impeached. And I'm saying, I look at that shit and I'm like, it would have to be me. Like every time I try to talk, Ted Cruz is gonna say some fucking smart ass shit like that under his breath with his mic on. And I would get fucking censured. I would be, because there's no way I'll be able to keep decorum. And like, bitch, can you shut the fuck up? I'm literally fucking talking right now. And I would say some shit like that. I don't know. I'd make all Puerto Ricans look bad. I would be like, see, that's why we don't let brown people. Brown people just should not be in Congress. Just look at the way he acted there. Throw a shoe.
Donald Trump himself
For real.
has used his social media account, the White House account, to post an image of himself wearing a crown saying, "Long live the king." The issue is that we do not live in a kingdom, and Elon Musk is not his court jester. Ours is a nation of laws in which no one is above the law. That is why 39...
Sometimes I really hate when Democrats choose like to like keep bringing up a thing, and it kind of makes me like cringe a little bit, because I'm like, bro, can you stop? Because it makes you look out of touch. For those that don't know, the king of the king stuff, King Trump, all that stuff, I know we don't want to hear it. I know it's dangerous rhetoric. I know, especially given the context of all the decisions he's made, I get it. But when he talked about blocking, driving taxes in New York and called himself the king, it's because Donald Trump, way back in the 80s and 90s, was called the King of New York. Like, it was all a play on the King of New York with Donald Trump, back when he was just synonymous with being rich, was called the King of New York. And he goes, "I'm still the king," or some shit like that. I forget what he tweeted, or truthed. When he blocked the New York City's deal. And I'm like, can you stop bringing that up? Because it makes you look silly. Like, let's focus on the things where he is, chewing away at democracy, where he is trying to become more than a president and he wants to be a dictator. When he said, "I'll be a dictator on day one," bringing that up over and over, perfect. Do that. But don't take something that's clearly a meme and then ride that shit forever, because then you just look dumb. There are a lot of judges. You're not lying. You're not lying. Democrats are pissing me off, trying to keep decorum. Motherfuckers start. Yeah, exactly. And then when you don't show decorum, then you have everybody and their mother talking about like, she shouldn't have talked like that. I hate Democrats so much.
Different judges
from
vastly different backgrounds, appointed by 5 different presidents, have made clear that these are illegal actions. And these judges have rightly blocked these actions. And it is important that we not lose sight of the underlying cause of these injunctions. It is not that these judges are crooked or lunatics or evil. Those are words used by the president and his allies. It is because the administration is violating the Constitution. What happens when they use these kinds of words? You see more and more threats against
I dig it, John. Hold on. After this, we'll talk about it.
Judges. And that is what we're seeing. That is why federal judges and the U.S. Marshals, who are
She's pretty much saying what I said.
Like, are sounding the alarm.
All those injunctions are because of how bad he is at his job.
Judges. This is serious. And unlike what Senator Cruz said, I'm remembering when the threat was made, the horrific threats, and the man was in Justice Kavanaugh's on his neighborhood, on his street. On a bipartisan basis, we came together and got more funding for the judges and changed things so that they had more protection. So what he said was completely untrue in terms of Democrats and Republicans decrying violence. We didn't just decry the violence, we actually did something about it in response to a court that is run by Justice Roberts, who is a Republican appointee. So I think that kind of language actually makes the situation worse when it's not even true. But unfortunately, Senator Cruz left, so he did not hear my response to what was a lie. President Trump's attacks on these judges has made for some major risks for these judges.
This right here. I told you all my conspiracy theory. All right, here's my conspiracy theory for those who haven't heard it yet. And I am calling it a conspiracy theory. I am. when we saw the surge, and FD Signifier, he talks about this in his videos. The surprising surge Kamala Harris took as soon as she hit the ground running. As soon as it was announced, you had the numbers Biden was pulling, right? All polling and statisticians, political statisticians said, hey, this dude is not going to win. When Harris came out the gate like a rocket, like a greyhound, just gone. Why was she? Where did that come from, right? It came from, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be better. Here we are. Put a black woman in charge. Let's do this. And then inexplicably, makes a shift to the right. Now, I did watch the FD Signifier's second video, and I meant to tell you all, I fully agree, no notes. I'm not one to argue data, and I think, well, maybe one note. I think he and I disagree on just how important it would have been to win Michigan and to win every other protest vote because of her sticking with Biden. But even if we include the people who stayed home because they just weren't motivated to come out, right? Let's say it wasn't about Gaza. I think her not sticking with Biden would have brought them out. But the numbers all say and have been saying since the campaign that move to the right hurt her. So why did they do it? And why did they keep doing it once the numbers started going down?
F-35s, fighter jets.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
Even if it's right next to it, it can't see.
Meister Chewy Num Nums, welcome to the Left Brigade. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. That's what's up. And so here's the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is that the Dems wanted Trump to win. The conspiracy theory is that the Dems wanted Trump to come in, do his 4 years the way he's doing it, right? Let's say they do not believe for a second that he's going to stay or he's going to be the next Putin and that democracy is done. They would only do this. This would only make sense if they believed he was going to be in 4 years and leave. That way, when it comes time to vote somebody in, we are so like, oh my God, that was the fucking worst 4 years of my life. Vote blue no matter who. And guess what vote blue no matter who gets you? It gets you status quo. It gets you the same fucking corporate bailouts. It gets you no movement in class mobility. No movement in the wage disparity and the wealth disparity. You go right back to the early aughts, 1990s politics, where marginalized societies were supposed to shut your fucking mouth and nobody fucking talks about it. Yes, there's poor people, but there's always going to be poor people and bullies happen. And, if you're going to be a weirdo, different person, then expect to get bullied. And as long as you just, and you know what we get to do? We get to poke fun at Occupy Wall Street. We get to make fun of, we can make a caricature. Think about all the TV shows you watch. Think about all the TV shows you watch. Think about sitcoms. Think about comedies. And now think about that teacher who's a hippie and smokes weed. Is she serious? Is she a source of wisdom? No, she's a comedic effect. She's out of touch. She smoked herself stupid. That's not an accident. Because she was a socialist in the 60s. And they had to make her look like a loon in media. They want us to hurt so... Conspiracy theory, this is just a thing in my mind. I'm not saying based off of any truth. But I think they want us to hurt so bad that come 2028, we'll take a conservative like Hillary Clinton. Just give us anything. Just fucking make Trump. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for wanting more out of you. Please take Trump away from me. Yes, bomb whoever the fuck you want. I don't care anymore. Commit all the genocide, kill everybody. You could carpet bomb the global south. I don't give a fuck anymore. Just take Trump away. Do not ever have anybody like him ever again. Please, I'm begging you. And let me tell you all something. Blue MAGA's gonna do it. Remember that. Please, if we are still here together, if the Left Brigade is still in formation in 2028, do not get mad at me when I say I'm not voting for the Democrat, because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fucking let them do it.
I would ask you, Mr. Panuccio, and not in a...
Assuming I'm right. You know, if they run somebody... Bro, you know what's funny? Last thing, we'll move on. Here's what's funny. A lot of people, when they hear leftists talk, they go like, "Oh, what do you want? You want like a Che Guevara? You want Karl Marx? Like, you say, if you're not Karl Marx, then you're not going to vote for them?" Nope. You know who's progressive enough? Biden when he was running in 2020. Not Biden like while he was president. I'm just talking about fucking lie to me. You know, just tell me a beautiful lie. Lie to me. Just be a little progressive. Just say you're for labor rights. Say you're for reproductive rights. Say you're going to protect the queer community. Say you're going to support and build up the black community. You know, use some language. I don't expect you to do anything crazy like say reparations, but use some language that implies it. Lie to me. I'm telling you right now, if these motherfuckers don't even lie to me, I'm not voting for them. I don't care. The Colonel Sunbrew, is that good? Is that like a blonde? I like light beers. This is like when your parents take you to a broke family member just to show you your life is pretty good as they beat your ass. Yeah. Yeah, you don't even have to meet. Man, I don't even care at this point. So maybe I'm just like a step above, right? Maybe a real leftist, the real leftist will be mad at me. Like, no, don't let them lie to you. Bro, I won't even know they're lying. Maybe I'll be so unhappy that I'll just choose to believe it. But I'm telling you, man, if you come out here and start doing some more walks with Liz Cheney, come out here with Mitch McConnell as your vice president, because Mitch McConnell, 6 months earlier, not Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, I can say Mitt Romney becoming a registered Democrat, and then they pick him as the vice president. Fuck out of here. Good luck. Congratulations, President J.D. Vance. I don't care if it's my vote.
A partisan way, just normal. As a partner in a law firm, have you ever taken to social media to personally attack a judge who ruled against you? That's all my question is.
Senator, thanks for the question. I think that attacking judges...
You say, sir or Sarah? What?
That's all my question is.
Senator, thanks for the question. I think that attacking judges personally and not their reasoning, well, let me just give you a quote. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price.
I've asked
you. Want to know, you won't know what hit you if you go forward with those awful decisions. That was something that Senator Schumer said, and I thought it was awful, and it unleashed a wave of violent threats against Supreme Court justices. I do think that's problematic, that kind of language.
I have no doubt the language is a problem on their left or right. I was just asking you if you have ever personally attacked a judge after you disagreed with the ruling. I'm asking you.
I have
if you
not.
did it. Thank you. And you believe that the proper recourse is to appeal when you disagree with the ruling.
When I disagree with a ruling on behalf of a client, I appeal.
Thank you. That was all I wanted. I was not going to criticize you. I believed that you would not have done this. And so that is my point.
You don't gotta act nice, because that wasn't a good faith argument he did. He wanted an opportunity to call out Chuck Schumer, which, I mean, good. Fuck Chuck Schumer. But that wasn't good faith. That was not, come on now.
When people do this, and right now we have not just a random person on social media doing it, we have the President of the United States doing it. And I would just ask you, Professor Vladeck, in your opinion, are the judges who ruled against the President radical and rogue judges?
No, and just if I might, even though he has also left the room, Senator Schmidt suggested it was statistically impossible that Chief Judge Boasberg has been assigned.
Wait, also left the room? So by this time, Ted Cruz has left. So by this time, so at this point, Ted Cruz already left because he couldn't. He knew his shit was cooked.
Cases in the D.C. District Court. I think that rhetoric is highly inflammatory, in addition to being just mathematically incorrect. There are 31 different cases in the D.C. District Court alone in which D.C. district judges have ruled against the administration. There are 11 or 12 active district judges. The notion that one of those judges would have multiple of those cases is not statistically impossible, it's statistically certain.
And if the president does not want to have judge rule against him, isn't the answer that he just follows the law?
One would think, but I think we live in a bit of an upside-down world at the moment.
Okay, so this hearing was titled in a very academic fashion, Universal Injunctions. And we can make it all academic if we want. Clearly we haven't with Senator Cruz's remarks. But I just want to make the point that this has a real consequence in these cases that are coming before these judges. This is outside of their decision, which is based on the law and the facts. Sometimes they've ruled with the president, sometimes they've ruled against the precedent. But just
and that's a tactic, by the way. That's a tactic for like a PR tactic. You know what I mean? Because he knows his shit's cooked. He knows that he got to say his sound bites, and by him staying, when she drops her shit and is able to look at him and smirk or something, that's a soundbite. That's a clip. That's a viral clip. And so, he knows that shit's coming, but he leaves not because he's scared or whatever. He's like, all right, now I have to leave because it's a strategy. She's about to cook my shit, but that's not the remedy. I don't want to be able to give her any clips.
Just to get it so people understand this isn't just some academic exercise about injunctions and if they're a good thing to have legally. Last month, a federal judge blocked the administration's plan to slash NIH funding for medical research. Could you talk about the impact if the judge had not been able to issue a nationwide injunction?
Sure. I mean, so Senator, briefly, because I know our time is limited, NIH hands out thousands and thousands and thousands of grants. If you required the recipients of each grant to litigate the rescission of each of those grants on a retail basis, you would have gaps in cancer research. You'd have gaps in all kinds of work by the National Institutes of Health, because it's not possible that those thousands of the mass action by the government could be challenged on a retail basis in federal courts.
Thank you so much. And
Could I get a second round
Senator
of questions?
I allowed you to go way over your time in order to make
Are we
up, and I
having a
wrote it
second
down.
round?
No, ma'am. I just wanted to let you know that I did give you extra time and over what was taken up.
Okay, the
So thank you
practice of
so
it-
much. I appreciate it.
Okay, a lot of times when senators are still here and there is no one else here, they let them have a second round.
Absolutely. I'd just like one moment to ask about an issue
Okay,
that came
well, you
up
should, yes.
that is regarding TROs. And I just want to make
All right, I don't care. That was boring. Is this updated yet? I just want to see if I want a wall. Do we need to build a wall? What? Did they cancel their thing? What's this? Oh, maybe that'll be better. We can check that every now and then. The dirty libs are ahead. Okay. BQ. Wow. So this is like I forget, it's like something Quebecois. these are like Quebecan nationalists. And right here, they have the New Democratic Party that they're pulling ahead of. As far as I think these are seats. These are seats in Parliament, I want to say, maybe. I don't fucking know. Don't make me lie to you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even said that. Probably seats in Parliament though. But let me just keep it to myself. I think the Canadians elected Jon Snow and are building to keep the American barbarians out. They you know what? They got to choose between Jon Snow, who knows nothing, or the Night King. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. I forget the dude's name. Does it pop up here? Yeah, Shri Thanedar. Detroit out of Michigan.
Already, Donald Trump.
Hey, calm down. I'm not done yet. Has filed articles of impeachment against Trump. So I chewed on this one for a little bit. I go back and forth, right? I go back and forth a little bit with the dancing during protests, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of go back and forth. Because at one point it's like you say do something about it, but then at another point it's like it's all symbolic. Like when we say do something about it, we don't mean like go bash your head against a cement wall. Excuse me. So he's going to file articles of impeachment, and there's no fucking way that, first of all, the Republicans have the majority of the House, right? We know they have a supermajority right now. The Republicans have the majority in the House and the Senate. So the way, just in case there's anybody who doesn't know, the way that articles of impeachment goes is that they're presented to the House. The House then, deliberates and votes on whether or not to initiate an impeachment hearing. If the hearing if they vote yes, then the hearing then gets sent to the Senate, and then the Senate has their hearing and then decides whether they're impeached or not. So not only will this not pass the House, if for some reason it did, it will die in the Senate. Like there's no fucking way that they would get it in the Senate. So what are you doing? That's my initial instinct. What are you doing? But then I go back and I'm like, we are saying do something, so maybe this is something, even though it's nothing. So I don't fucking know.
This is Congressman Shri Thanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous...
He kills them rolled R's, though. Real. I like that. Between that accent and Scottish accent, them R's they got them down packed.
Unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the...
That's the other side. Exactly. It's like a 3-point, like, fuck you. It's like, you're not going to pass you're not going to make it through the House. If you did, you're not going to make it to the Senate. And if you did, you get J.D. Vance as a fucking president. Like, there's no way this is not a headshot. This is like literally firing a gun that's like reversed, it points back at you when you pull the trigger.
Constitution, he ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment. Article 1, obstruction of justice and abuse of executive power. From denying due process to unlawful deportations, Trump defied court orders. Article 2, taking away Congress's power of the purse. Trump dismantled agencies and froze funds without permission from Congress. Article 3, abuse of trade powers and international aggression. He imposed damaging tariffs and threatened military invasions of our allies. Article 4, violation of First Amendment rights. He has retaliated against journalists, attorneys, and critics for exercising their right to free speech. Article 5, creation of an unlawful office establishing the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and giving Elon Musk unconstitutional power over our government and personal data. Article 6, bribery and corruption. He has dismissed criminal cases and solicited payments from foreign governments and courts.
I mean, this is all legit. I mean, this is all legit. This is exactly a nice. If anybody wants to like ever says like, okay, what has he done wrong? Tell me. Well, you can just show them this video because this itemizes everything that he's done fucked up. It explains how he has the most injunctions in the first 2 months of presidency than presidents have had in the whole entire 20th century combined, as Ted Cruz was so kind to let us know. But it's not going to go anywhere.
Legal settlements for personal and political gain. Article 7, tyrannical overreach. Finally, and most importantly, he is attempting to consolidate unchecked power and erode the constitutional limits of the presidency. In this country, we have presidents, not kings. That's not just misconduct, it's impeachable misconduct. This isn't leadership, it's tyranny. If we let this stand, we are saying the president is above the law, that the United States Constitution is optional. I won't be silent, and I'm calling on all my colleagues, Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, to stand up with me. Enough is enough. Donald J. Trump must be impeached.
Well, I'm not. There's no shade to this dude. Do your thing. Do your thing, homie. Do your thing. But you know, all right. 3 new executive orders protecting American communities from criminal aliens, which targets sanctuary cities that administration believes aren't cooperating enough with immigration crackdowns. So here's a secret. Here's a secret. My DSA chapter just got done with elections. I ran for co-chair, but I didn't get it. 2 awesome qualified people who I already knew they were gonna get it because the motherfuckers are like there all the time. Like they work, you know. Like I just started showing up to shit. So, but I got appointed as the board secretary, right? Because nobody ran for secretary. And we then had to vote for what our chapter's primary, our focus for this year is going to be as far as our campaign. And this whole ICE thing, migrant rights, won. And so this right here, it could either throw a monkey wrench in the whole thing where we're going to try to like make sure that the sheriff's department, the police department are not, accepting the, what do they call them? Only accepting federal warrants, not what depositions or some shit like that. ICE has some shit that they're handing out in place of federal warrants because they don't have federal warrants. And there are, police departments and sheriff's departments that are like, yeah, good enough for me. And they're handing them over. Some places like, there's 2 counties in Atlanta, Cobb and something else. And they're like, nah, federal warrant or nothing. And that's what we want to make sure it happens here. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see what it says. We could take this down now. by the authority invested in me as president by the Constitution, blah, 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 blah. Federal supremacy with respect to immigration, national security, and foreign policy is axiomatic. The Constitution provides the federal government with plenary authority regarding, this motherfucker didn't write this shit himself. Let's see here. Translate to English. I feel you, Windows. Oh, that's good. To be attended. Oh, unqualified, absolute. Plenary means absolute. Boom. Look at that. And you guys didn't think you'd learn something today. I sure did. Authority regarding immigration to protect the sovereignty of our nation and to conduct relations with other nations, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Tell me what you're going to do. Tell me what you're planning here, home skillet. The prior administration allowed unchecked millions of aliens to illegally enter the United States, which is weird because Biden, at this point, still had deported more people than Trump has. But whatever. Don't let a little thing like truth get in the way. The resulting public safety and national security risks are exacerbated by the presence of and control of territory by international cartels. There are international cartels who control territory in the United States of America. Man, I need to rethink this whole immigration policy thing. Maybe I am on board with Trump. Is it like the Sinaloa? Is it like Sinaloa in Mexico? Like there's a whole part of like, is it Arizona? It's Albuquerque, isn't it? I bet you it was Albuquerque. I bet you Albuquerque, the governor is actually the head of MS-13. Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Here we go. Within 30 days of this, the date of this order, the Attorney General, in coordination with the Secretary of Homeland Security, shall publish a list of states and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. Immediately following each publication under subsection A of this section, the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security shall notify each sanctuary jurisdiction regarding its defiance of federal immigration law enforcement. Consequences. With respect to sanctuary jurisdictions that are designated under Section 2A of this order, the head of each executive department or agency and coordinate... God damn, so many... You're not saying shit. Just fucking get to the point. Shall identify appropriate federal funds to sanctuary jurisdictions, including grants and contracts for suspension or termination as appropriate. Okay, but what determines if you are preventing federal benefits for aliens in sanctuary, equal treatment of Americans, general provisions, the authority. It doesn't say what constitutes. They could just say whatever, right? So like those agents. Those counties that are not abiding, they're not taking those that paperwork from ICE, and they say no, you have to have a federal warrant. Are they going to call that a sanctuary city now? Interesting, very interesting. All right, what else? What else is this dumb fuck doing? Oh, okay. Strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocents. The Attorney General shall take all appropriate action to create a mechanism to provide legal resources and indemnification to law enforcement officers who unjustly incur expenses or liabilities for action taken during the performance of their duties to enforce law. So you know what this means? This here is, hey, you want a police accountability? No. We don't want our police to have accountability. We want, when you kill somebody, you should just be given a medal and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That would indeed be they're sending their brightest. They're sending their best. What would indeed be a sanctuary city? Requiring federal agencies to follow the Constitution, you dumb fuck. right? Because once a person is sitting in a jail and their sentence is up, and that jail doesn't hand them over to ICE, that jail lets them go because that's what the Constitution says, that when their sentence is up, they're not allowed to hold them any longer. And then another federal agency comes up and says, "No, hand it to us." And they go, "What do you have? I have to let this person go. What do you have a federal warrant?" And they go, "No, I don't have a federal warrant. I have this paperwork from my agency that says I'm supposed to pick them up." And they go, "That's not good enough. I have to follow the Constitution." Yes, that's a sanctuary city. You're a fucking dumb fuck. This creates pretext to muscle jurisdictions and compliance. More judges, lawyers getting cuffed. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's going to be at this point. At this point, it's going to be sheriffs and city councilmen or mayors getting arrested. You know, because like they'll just figure out, okay, who is telling you, right? Because the sheriff is an elected position, and so if the sheriff says nope, we're not, you have to have a federal warrant, and then Donald Trump decides to arrest them for it. Interesting, very interesting. Empowering state and local law enforcement. The Attorney General and other appropriate heads of executive department and agencies shall take all appropriate action to maximize the use of federal resources to provide new best practices to state and local law enforcement to aggressively police communities against all crimes. Are you saying that law enforcement doesn't already aggressively police communities against all crimes? Interesting. Did you see the senator in Indiana saying the Three-Fifths Compromise was meant to help slaves? These are the same motherfuckers who think that slavery was actually a benefit to the enslaved people. God damn, dude, I hate all these people. We need a fucking plague. At this point, I don't even care about, like, I'll take it. I'll get it. Just we need a bigger meteor than that came with the dinosaurs. Because we just need a reset. At this point, it's half of us. You know, imagine if half your body was taken over by cancer. Like, I wouldn't knock off myself just because there was still 50% of my body good to go. You know what I'm saying? I could be like, hey, I'm out. 50%. I'm out. I'm not surviving this shit. It's just all in my brain and shit. Like, I gotta go, homie. Put me in one of those special like pods in Canada to where I get to say goodbye on my own terms. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is. Humanity is a plague, is a cancer, and we need a reset. And hopefully there'll be some tide pools in a billion years that life can start over again. About to go do some work. I'll be back. All right, bet. Get it done. We have a plague of stupidity right now. I know it's just not lethal enough. It's not doing enough to get a restart. Expand access to improve the quality of training available to state and local law enforcement. I wonder what you consider quality. Maybe sending them to Israel some more, maybe. To get trained by people who love to beat the fuck out of anybody who disagrees with them. Increased pay benefits for law enforcement officers. Hold on. Minimum. No. Starting pay. San Diego Police Department. San Diego Police Department starting pay for new officers is $73,000. After 6 months of training, this increases to $84,000. After 2 years of service, it jumps to $114,000. Man, doesn't it suck the way that like the radical left Democrats just completely defunded all the police? It's a good thing we have law and order back, or else all these people would not, you know, now they can rise out of poverty. Starting salary in Los Angeles PD, $86,000 a year. Okay, this one's a little wild. Okay. This one's a little wild. No wonder their shit's fucking crooked as fuck. Starting for NYPD, $46,000 a year. Can you imagine how fucking pissed that you got to be a New York City police a police officer in a place that's as or more expensive than San Diego, and you're making like 50% what they make? That's wild. Did you hear about the Trina Martin Supreme Court case on whether you can sue the FBI? No. Do I want to? Is it going to be more bad news? By the way, what's up, Judah? Hello. I'm always happy when you're here. Supreme Court to weigh in. Oh, they haven't yet. The Federal Tort Claims Act allows lawsuits against federal law enforcement for searching the wrong house, but government lawyers contend FBI agents are immune and courts shouldn't second guess them. Trina Martin, her son Gabe, and partner Toy Cleot sued the FBI for mistakenly searching their house looking for a suspected gang member, but courts dismissed their case by finding the FBI immune. Justice Department lawyers contend FBI agents acted in good faith despite the mistake and shouldn't be second-guessed by the courts. You shouldn't be second-guessed by courts when you're incorrect already, like post the fact. Like we're not talking about, hey, we need to search this house and then second-guess them. We're talking about you were wrong already. Like we knew you were wrong. Yeah. But can you not second-guess us on that? What? The Supreme Court wants to hear arguments about whether a provision in the Constitution invalidates the Federal Tort Claims Act for lawsuits against law enforcement, as lower courts ruled. Oh, fucking great. We'll see tomorrow. We shall see tomorrow. What else is happening? Which one is this one? Did I read this one? Yeah, from all those criminals that are strengthening auditioning. Oh, here we go. This is the one that's scaring people right here, okay? Hold on a second. Hold on. Man, scared the shit out of me. I'm like, is my house on fire? Please tell me my house is not on fire. I gotta get my dogs out, gotta grab my computer. She made popcorn. Oh, because you got caught. I'm glad you're back though, because I actually forgot to give proof for something. It did scare the shit out of me though, because I couldn't tell it was popcorn right away. It smelled like it was burning. Here, before we get into this scary shit, check this out. Check this out, everybody, because I said this last time, and Maneater said lies. She straight up said lies. But today I got proof. Today I am vindicated. Just want to say, now, no wait, nothing. This is nothing. You cannot. What are you going to say? Photoshopped? This is straight off. I'll pull the whole damn chat up. I'll make the damn Discord go right on the damn window. This shit is the truth. I am vindicated. I knew justice would come for me. I prayed to Cthulhu, and today Cthulhu granted me justice. Now I can sleep easy. I'm telling you. I do. I'm just saying, when I don't, it's your fault. That's all I'm saying. When I miss a stream and I say Maneater said, don't worry about it, y'all know I'm not lying. Sometimes it's me. Okay, sometimes it's just me. Okay, but I'm saying. All right, now we gotta look at some scary shit. Okay. I won't bury the lead. You ran for that one again. True. Hold on. Okay, I won't bear the lead on this one. There are some people who are reading into this executive order, and they think that this is the precursor to martial law. I'm not convinced. Oh yeah, hold on. This right here. NYPD cops can't afford to live in New York City, but all the cop movies are about them, so that's something. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm not even sure they live in the boroughs. I want to know what percentage of NYPD lives in Jersey. He's going to block me for chatting. Tomorrow I'm going to get me a gun. Oh, true. What, do we get paid or something? When we get paid, we're going to get a gun. Shit. All right. So let's check this out. Are people overreacting? I don't know. Let's go through it ourselves. So of course he's going to start off with this executive order, sucking off law enforcement like he does. Knowing that all the Republicans are just deep throating all the boots, licking all the boots. They live in New Jersey, Newark, maybe Staten Island. Yeah, we do live in New York City. Thank you. I live in Staten Island, but it is. Like, wait, what'd you say? You didn't hear? I didn't hear the last part. I didn't say nothing. I said we live in New York City. Staten Island. It's a borough. I'm imagining someone from Staten Island and be like, "Why is that a joke? Why are you laughing right now?" See, safe communities rely on the backbone, blah, blah, blah. We would all be, this would all be Mad Max if cops didn't exist. Cops are God, blah, 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 blah. Legal defense. If you're a cop and, you should never be second guessed. You should be allowed to do whatever you want because whatever you do is going to be awesome because you're a cop. Okay, got it. The Attorney General and other appropriate heads of executive agencies shall take appropriate actions to maximize. Okay, wait, this is the part. I guess I didn't go down far enough, I guess. All right, check this out. Using national security assets for law and order. Now, this is the one that if you were a dog, you should be reacting right now as if you just heard a bag of chips get taken out of the pantry. All right? Or the cupboard. Or the food closet, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what's everybody call it. You guys use pantry or cupboard? This is the one. This should get everybody's attention right here. When you start talking about national security assets, what you're talking about are the very assets that the Constitution and the Posse Comitatus Act you're not the assets you're not supposed to use on American citizens. So this is the president wanting to make it easier to activate the military forces against the United States of America and her citizens. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and the heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. Within 90 days of this order, the Secretary of Defense. Okay, so listen to that. He didn't say governors of the state, right, shall provide a plan for their National Guardsmen, right, which are used as state assets. No. The Department of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets Training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can be most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. Listen to this. Do not, this right here, non-lethal capabilities, this is what we call in the industry a red herring. Okay? This is a red herring. This is a throw you off the trail deal right here. Military and national security assets, training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. Bingo. But check this out. When we look at the Posse Comitatus Act, and we look at constitutional limitations for military enforcement of crime, is it only talking about lethal force? Is the Posse Comitatus Act about lethal force? Is it about and you won't use guns with bullets in it that can kill people? Is that what it says? Because I'm pretty sure it's using the military to enforce laws. The thing inside this that should cause everybody to be extremely concerned is this. This is the thing. This right here is the biggest fucking point, the biggest cause for concern on this executive order, if the laws don't shut it down. Now remember, Ted Cruz already let us know, put up a nice little pie chart for us that said, look at all these injunctions and not as many in the whole 20th century. Yes, because he is that fucking bad at his job. That Trump has collected more injunctions in his 2 months than any president in all of the 20th century. Is it going to happen here? And you better fucking hope so. Because at the risk of committing a slippery slope fallacy, when you start using the military to prevent crime, you are well within range of violating the Posse Comitatus Act. Holding state and local officials accountable, the Attorney General shall pursue. Here we go. Just like Judah said earlier, with regard to threatening officials to do what they're supposed to do, the Attorney General shall pursue all legal remedies and enforcement measures to enforce the rights of Americans impacted by crime and shall prioritize prosecution for any applicable violations of federal criminal law with respect to state and local jurisdictions whose officials willfully and unlawfully direct the obstruction of criminal law, which is fucking hilarious to me because this comes from the party of Civil War was about states' rights. This comes from the party of, well, that's the federal overreach. So the party of states' rights and the party of small government and less federal overreach is saying that if state and local jurisdictions do what we say they're going to do, we will prosecute you. You have to follow our rules. Unlawfully engaging in discrimination or civil courts violations in the guise of diversity, equity, inclusion. Initiatives that restrict. Bro. This strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. Where we talk about needing to empower cops and get them better pay? Will we start talking about using the military to prevent crime? And oh, by the way, if I see any DEI, we will prosecute. This means any local or state jurisdiction that says no, we're not going to do away with DEI, and they go, you didn't give that white person a job because you wanted to hire a black person. We're going to charge you with a federal crime. Conspiracy theory, they're going to set up an incident involving some cartel members in Florida and Texas and use it as an excuse. They'll probably blow some stuff out to make it, man. Prevent crimes is arrest black and brown peeps and throw in poor whites for good measure. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. We're absolutely, this will be very, very specific on race and very specific on class. This isn't a slippery slope fallacy. We're on a slope right now. We can see where it's going. It's definitely going because we're going there because we're on the slope already, and it's going fair. Discrimination here always means anti-Zionism, or not letting Christian stuff unload Bibles up your ass. Yes, exactly correct. But correct, and you're not wrong because he's already established the anti-Christian bias fucking task force, whatever the fuck, right? But this right here is diversity, equity, and inclusion. This right here is the tell. This is the one that says you will hire white people, and if I hear one white person, I'll get a job. I'll be down there. I'll call the president my goddamn self. That's another thing RFK said. He mostly cut DEA programs. Of course he did. Use of Homeland Security Task Force. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. They're supposed to work inside the United States. Whatever. All right. Great. Super. Trump administration's budget cuts endanger Meals on Wheels, life and death implications. Are we sad yet? Are we upset yet? Remember, this is all a way to pay for tax cuts for the wealthy. People don't seem to realize something. When Trump was president, he got a tax code passed. And that tax code, again, passed, meaning that went through the Senate and the House, and it passed. And President Donald Trump at the time signed it. Do you all know when that tax code expired? I'll give you all one guess. And here's your clue. It ends in 4. It ends in the number 4. Maybe 5. Because we're in fiscal year 5 right now, right? So his tax code was set to expire on the first year he came back. So anybody complaining about the tax code during Biden's era It wasn't Biden's tax code because Congress had already passed the tax code, and then he'll do it again. But now he wants to do it even bigger. He wants to do it way bigger. I can't imagine why. But although he's a piece of shit, I mean, he can't just pull money from nowhere, so he has to try to fucking make this work for real. And how's he going to do that? By slashing the Department of Health and Human Services, by slashing U.S. aid and the health services we provided to impoverished nations around the world. By cutting aid to Ukraine, by increasing aid to Israel. Wait a minute, nope, that does the opposite thing. No, that one's good. That one stays. I mean, gotta have, Trump Gaza, complete the ethnic cleansing. That one stays. It's kind of impressive how much of a dystopia we're entering into. Fucking phenomenal. Literally nothing is going to work. Nope. So the Harlem Girls try to DEI since they only have one white guy in the squad. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Federal, and that is a felony. A federal felony. If you hire a black person, then whites can sue and maybe win. Yep. Yep. We're talking about lives here, so it's worrisome to me, said Ellie Hollander, the president and CEO of Meals on Wheels America. Some of our programs are already operating on razor-thin budgets and are pulling from their reserves. If funding goes away, it could result in some programs having to close their doors. In the U.S., 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 60 and nearly 13 million seniors are threatened by or experience hunger. Meals on Wheels America, a network of 5,000 community-based programs that feeds more than 2 million older Americans each year, has been a successful public-private partnership for more than 50 years. The Urban Institute estimates that the number of seniors in the U.S. will more than double over the next 40 years. And that is a program that God-fearing, Christian, Christ-like Republicans want to cut so that we can get tax credit to the corporations. Awesome. In some good news, Jalen Hurts says, "Fuck you, Donald Trump. I'm not going." I don't like the fact that he said there was a scheduling conflict. Just say it with your chest. And I'm sure he's probably not allowed to. I'm sure the owners or the coach, I'm sure there's probably fines involved, yada, yada, yada. He did down here when he goes, when Time asked if he was joining his other teammates, Hurts said, and looked away from the camera with an uncomfortable expression mixed with a hesitant smile. He didn't have anything else to say, prompting the reporter to reply, "Got it, thank you so much," before the NFL star appeared to walk away. I don't know why. I thought we didn't like censorship. Like I thought we didn't like censorship. I thought we I wonder who's not letting him speak his truth. You know, when someone disparages a fictional villain as being too cartoonishly evil rather than being complex and sympathetic, cartoonishly evil is actually way more accurate to real life. Yeah. I mean, I think it's when we look at like serial killers and watching like what kind of abuse they okay, fine. But you're right. Like, we're not talking about the 1 in a million sociopath that doesn't produce the right hormones to feel shame or empathy, and so then goes on a killing spree. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Those are interesting, movie targets. But the actual evil people literally do it for one simple reason, and that is money. Like, wow, do you hate black people? Yeah, kind of, but I mean, if helping black people made me money, I would do it. So that's not really it. Okay, but what's going on here? Are you trying to like usher in a new world order? Nah. Did somebody upset you and you want to be able to like destroy some sector to get back at them? No. I just want to make more money. Yeah, that's it. I really wish I can give you a better answer, but I just like money, and this is the best way to do it, really. Stephen Miller is cartoonishly evil just to be you. Yeah, and he looks like it too, with that giant fucking head of his. Does he have a disease? Did he have like some weird like childhood genetic disorder or something? Because that's not normal. Like, I have a big head, but that's like a weird like megamind thing. Like, he had to have some sort of like cranial thing, right? Pretty sure they're gonna institute Logan's Run executive order before they. Fuck me. Musk lays groundwork for big donor role in midterm elections as time with Doge ends. So yeah, so Trump is Elon Musk is very upset. He's just very surprised at the lack of empathy. Yeah, that would have been a better segue. Hold on. I could do a better segue. Hold on. So speaking of Trump cutting Meals on Wheels, Elon Musk is upset at the left's lack of empathy for his falling stock prices and is now leaving Doge, but promises to be a mega donor for 2026. How Elon exits matters, said second person with direct knowledge of the discussions. The priority is keeping him close without turning a major ally into a liability. So check this shit out. Check this shit out. It's kind of like when the bad guy in a movie like creates like a monster that turns on him, right? Like, yeah, I got this badass monster, and wait, oh, he's turning on us. They're learning. So Elon Musk got so much power as the richest man on the planet, the wealthiest man on the planet, rather, got so much power. I guarantee you they're blaming him and Doge on the low approval rates, which they are absolutely, whether they admit it or not, they are absolutely actually let's just go here. Panicking about. And they're panicking because 2026 is coming. Like, hey, you understand what it means if the president, the Republican president of the United States, Donald Trump, the man who is the face of the GOP right now, if he continues on this, they're done. The Democrats are going to take the House and the Senate. So they're panicking. And you know who they're going to put this on? They're going to put this on Elon Musk. So they can't have Elon Musk go away upset, because the Elon Musk will then pour all his money, either take his money back and say, okay, now I'm not going to be a donor, which they don't want. Or what if he pours it into some libertarian? You know what I mean? And then that causes them to lose even more, because they'll suck. Obviously, it won't be like a lefty libertarian. It'll be an American libertarian who's like an ultra capitalist or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So they created such a big monster that they have to like baby him out of the administration. What they don't understand is their approval rating is not because of Elon Musk. It's because they are cartoonishly evil. All right. Last thing before we get into brain rot. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because I mean, Stephen A. Smith, he's a good talker, but you know, I don't want to say he's a stupid person. I don't want to say that, actually. I don't think he's stupid, but we are certainly not ideologically aligned, which is sometimes hard to realize. I've noticed. Same thing happened with like Dave Chappelle, right? If you are on board and you're solid at like pro-black rhetoric, which I assume, many black public figures are, because you're already good at speaking, You know what it means to live in an anti-black world. So unless you're like far right Candace Owens, your points are probably going to be solid. But I've learned that you got to listen to people talk a little bit more longer, because I'm like, you know, you're listening to Dave Chappelle and you're listening to his police accountability set, and that motherfucker's making you tear up and cry, making you want to get out there and protest. And then he spends the next 7 specials making fun of trans people. So it's like, oh, never mind. I'm not saying Stephen Smith is like that, but let's see what he has to say about Candace Owens. For those that don't know, Candace Owens seems to be, yeah, plenty of people are clear on the issues that affect. That's a very good point. Yes, solid. That's exactly right. For those that don't know, Candace Owens is clearly making some sort of like marketing move to the left. There's some weird attempt of some sort of redemption arc. Some people are guessing. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. Nobody should. If this is true, if that's what she's trying to do, hopefully enough people will tell her to kick rocks. I've seen way too many times people talk about how great of a point she made about Israel. About, wow, like, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Candace Owens right now. And that might be you, and that's fine. I'm not, but what I need you to understand is, and this is why organizations like AIPAC are so effective. You could say almost all of the words that I say about Israel and be a Nazi. You know what I mean? Like when I say, no, Israel doesn't have a right to exist. No fucking country does. You know? You slap the country on top of on people who already live there. No, you don't. Okay. But then a Nazi says, no, they don't have a right to exist. And the Nazi is saying it in the way AIPAC says it's meant, right? Like a Nazi saying that the people don't have a right to exist. I wish we had gotten rid of all of them. And so Candace Owens is making good points about Israel because she's an anti-Semitic piece of shit. Candace Owens is a bad person. Same thing with Andrew Tate and Sneeko. Names that, especially Sneeko, I'm very happy that names I haven't heard in a long time. I feel like I only hear about Sneeko when I say the name out loud. But these people have good takes on Palestine because they are anti-Semitic. And I use air quotes on good takes because their takes about Palestine have nothing to do with Palestinian liberation and everything to do with their hate for Jewish people. Should I do a collab with Camp Callout? Probably. And there'll be people ready to bring her in. It's like Save the Children. Save the Children is great, but wait for who they want to save the children from. Exactly. And that's why people, I was actually talking to my son about this. You find those people who figured out their dog whistle. And I'm telling everybody here, especially if anybody here is in the queer community, like I fucking need to tell you all anything. Like I know you know the dangers, but if you ever see some fucking vet looking dude or some fucking good old boy and his shirt says the only good pedophile is a dead pedophile or dead pedophiles don't get acquitted or any of that kind of shit that kind of implies that they want to kill pedophiles, stay far away from that person. Because that's their dog whistle for saying they wish they can kill gay people. Because they wear that shirt because they think queer folk are the pedophiles. They're literally just wearing that shirt or putting that sticker on their car to dog whistle about killing queer people. When it comes to someone's politics, how and why is far more telling than the what. Yes. Bingo. All right. Let's hear what this guy say.
Mr. President, Donald Trump, found very, very interesting. To get into some political talk, due to a headline that I just saw yesterday that I found very, very interesting. Far-right conservative Candace Owens is speaking out against one of her favorite people in the world, supposedly, Mr. President Donald Trump himself, and accusing the administration of fighting against free speech right here in the United States of America. The comments
nothing to do with cutting nothing to do with cutting humanitarian aid to the world. Nothing to do with cutting health care for women across the country. Nothing to do with the number of women that are dying from miscarriages and procedures that happen too late because doctors are afraid of going to prison. Nothing to do with cutting aid, cutting funding to veteran organizations and Meals on Wheels. Nothing to do with any of that. Free speech. Free speech. And we all know what conservatives mean when they say free speech. Now, in Candace Owens' case, it's probably not the N-word, but it's like, I should be allowed to be a Nazi. I should be allowed to say the Holocaust didn't happen in this United States of America.
That's our reference to Harvard University, who is suing the Trump administration for threatening to withhold federal funding if the school did not comply with its list of White House demands.
DSB!
As a result, lawyers for the university sued the administration earlier this week. In the suit, university lawyer claimed the Trump administration is unlawfully using billions of dollars.
Fake outrage, bigoted outrage, any of the outrage. She doesn't want to any accountability.
And federal funding as, quote, leverage to gain control of academic decision-making at...
Candace Owens gonna be out there like, from 9 to 14, I sucked my cousin's dick. God, dude. That is so fucking wild. Kanye is... Man.
At Harvard, end quote. They also allege that the funding freeze violates the First Amendment and flouts
all ESPN all the time.
And that is essentially what Owens is saying as well. Take a listen to her thoughts from her podcast yesterday.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. I have a theory. I do. We were kicking around some theories earlier, me and the team, and we were going, how could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen?
I'm sorry. I wouldn't be me if I didn't say, I don't care what you all say. You all can unfollow me if you want. But Candace Owens is purty. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I just got to say it. She is easy to look at.
Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy. It's so obvious. Everyone knows what you're doing.
I cannot fix it. I don't want to. Okay, I'm just saying.
To grift, I suppose, are not willing to challenge you on this, which is ridiculous, because when you are out of office, we are going to have to live with these consequences. Our children are going to have to grow up in this America. Okay? So when you threaten our speech, it's not worth it so that we can have pom-poms and go hurrah for a couple of years, then go, okay, well, yeah, now it kind of stinks because, we're getting arrested.
Best streamers on streamboot.com. What? Thanks, Soaked Highway LGBDIEKJLV. I'm going to definitely go to that website now. I agree. It's just listening to her. That's yeah, exactly. Like we would have to just like talk about, fuck, I don't know. Like, what could you talk about? But not music. Nothing. She would just have to be a you up at 4 a.m. kind of call, you know? Thank you. See your Rouse knows what's up. See your Rouse. I get so much pushback when I say that. I get so much pushback. I don't need DSB, I don't need her to cook. I could cook. If you're a grown-ass man that doesn't know how to cook the shit that you like, you need to fix yourself. Okay? Fix yourself. Not saying you can't DSB. I'm just saying. Maybe if I was deaf. Man, I was about to say something. I totally forgot. Oh, yeah. By the way, the point that she's making is kind of making me second guess myself a little bit. Not about her, but I always talk about like, oh, she wants the free speech to be a bad. She's actually talking about the way that colleges are being silenced, which that is a broken clock being right twice a day. That is being because that is like, okay, yeah, okay. I mean, she is making a solid point here. I don't. It doesn't make her a good person. She is not redeemed, but solid point.
For wrongthink, we got David Friedman. Yeah, arrest him. Arrest Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Get them. I love it. And if you think it's going to stop with college campuses, you're out of your mind. So you better buck up and root for Harvard University in this fight.
Beta. See, it's moments like this that...
Thanks for the follow, leftist. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go on a little limb, leftist, and say you are in the right place.
When the show is over and I go home and I have an opportunity to look at some content and then I see the comments that come in my direction, one of the things that grates my last damn nerves is when everybody's acting like I'm flip-flopping or I'm timid or I'm scared to take a position. No, ladies and gentlemen, there's something to be said about...
Okay. I'm going to go on a limb and say that there's a lot of limbs I'm out on here. This is dangerous. Okay, I'm going to get hurt one of these days. But what do you all think he's about to say? I haven't seen this. And if you saw it, don't answer because that's cheating. Do you think he's going to say that she should be given a chance? Like, is he going to go, like, positive towards Candace Owens? Or is he going to go, she's still not invited to the cookout? Like, where do you think he's going to go right now? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's 50-50. I have no idea. Nuance from Stephen A. Smith? Or Stephen A. Smith? I don't know about all that one. Stephen. You think he'll go positive? You think he's going to be like, give her a chance. He's going to talk about standards. Man, that boy is getting so much heat. I don't even watch sports and I feel bad for that kid. Man, Deion said, talk about a famous dad screwing up chances for your son. She's being disingenuous because she knows Trump never gave a shit about free speech. She just wants to say what he wants to say what he wants without any consequence. Absolutely. Candace Owens is looking for new friends. That's all. She knows there's no future for her in the right. Yeah. I do think. So check this out. I think he's gonna go positive, neutral at best, but he's not gonna have any. He's not gonna have any smoke for her. Here's what I will say. I'm going to say something about Candace Owens. I think she's being sincere here. And that not to say that she is, being good-hearted or something. I think what Candace Owens is doing here is being consistent. She's a bad person who has bigoted views, but she also saw a bunch of, big-time protests at colleges whenever she tried to go speak. Her and many other people had to cancel speeches because of the protests that occurred. She felt that was bad. And she thinks back to those times, and she thinks that what Trump is doing can set a precedence that what if she wants to do that in 4 years from now, and now there's a precedent set to get the law involved. And wait a minute. What if the Dems get in power and now instead of protests happening when I come and speak, I get arrested because I come and speak? I don't like the idea of that. I do think that there's a chance that she's being, obviously in a self-serving, sort of way. But yeah, there's as much chance of Candace Owens getting back in the good graces of black people as Snowball's chance of surviving in hell. The true hero. The true hero. I'm not gonna speak for black people because your boy's not black, but I am a human, and I will speak for human beings. It doesn't matter what group of people it is. If it's big enough, they will disappoint you. I want you to think about the amount of people, the amount of people who went to bat for Dave Chappelle, knowing damn well there's plenty of black trans people. The amount of people who right now are going to bat for P. Diddy, who are going to bat for man, I'm fucking brain fart. I'm getting tired. What's the dude? Jonathan Majors. No, you're gonna make me do the thing. I say it so much. Like, I need it. They've heard it. They've heard it before. They need to. You're gonna make me do the thing. I'm not saying Dave Chappelle, Jonathan Majors, Diddy, yay. Yes, the dude who shot Megan Thee Stallion. Yes, and I'm not even talking about like the fringe MAGAs. I'm talking about there is a enough people in a group that are willing to look past anything because you look like me. Like if Bad Bunny got charged with rape tonight, I promise you he would lose a little bit of money in sales. A little bit of money. Like Puerto Ricans would make, well, what was she doing? She was white. You know how they lie, and I don't believe them. Because he's Puerto Rican. If you don't think there is a substantial amount of black folks who will accept her and give her the views and get her the money simply because she's black, no, that is not my experience with humans. I'll tell you that. Neil Gaiman. Yeah, we're not even talking about ethnicity there. We're just talking about nerds. You can't even get all nerds to be on board. Shit.
Exercising common sense, not living on the fringes or the extreme, and deducing that both sides can actually make sense.
There you go. God, man, that enlightened center shit. That just does something to me. I think I'm allergic. Like the back of my throat gets all itchy and I want to go, I want to do it like that shit. I think I'm allergic to enlightened centrists.
Because that's what we're going to do here. First off, to stop the presses and disappoint some of y'all, Candace Owens is not totally wrong. The President of the United States knows that Harvard receives billions of dollars in funding. He knows this. That last year, in fiscal year 2024, Harvard got $686 million in taxpayer dollars for fiscal year 2024. Now, this is an institution with an endowment exceeding $53.2 billion. And so when you hear stuff like the president is trying to impose his will on the country's oldest university, accusing it of engaging in anti-Semitism, along with other things, wanting them to eradicate...
I saw a good meme one time. It's like one group, it's like, we want rights and we want, equal pay and equal rights and, no human rights violation. It's just saying shit like that, like, we hate black people and gay people. And it's like, why can't we just find a middle ground? Like somebody in the middle. Why can't we find a point of agreement? Like, no, man. if your ideology talks about someone having to argue their existence with you, then I don't want to find common ground with you. You are outside of that. You get to stand in a group in the same box with pedophiles. Don't know if you realize this, but this is all Dump's attempt to destroy the American education system. You know what? If it makes him more money, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. That's the bottom line right there. Does it make me more money? Does it put money back into my pockets? I don't think. Listen, and maybe I'm being naive here. I don't think Donald Trump has an ideology. I don't think Trump has any sort of like dogmatic drive, to where he wants to bring white supremacy into the world. Or I think Donald Trump is driven by one thing and one thing only, and that is his brand and his bank account. Period. I think that is the start and finish of everything that Donald Trump is.
DEI programs. How far-fetched is it to deduce that he's trying to control speech? He's trying to control what institutions of higher learning are.
Who is Stephen A. Smith talking to? Like, like for real, like, who is he? Is he trying to convince people that, yeah, he is? Like, nobody doesn't know this already.
Actually teaching and disseminating to the masses. How far is the president who campaigned on a lot of this stuff, the chagrin of millions of tens of, and when Candace Owens sits up there and says, be alert, be alarmed. Because if they get away with this, if you're not rooting for Harvard on this, and the federal government and the Trump administration is successful in muzzling or dictating, dare I say.
I don't think he understands what the conversation is. Like, he's having a conversation as if anybody disagrees with her on like a wave top level. Like, no shit, we agree with her. We're talking about, is she being sincere? Is this some sort of move on the moral scale? You know, is she moving to be a more moderate instead of this far right goon that she was? You know, or is rather.
The kind of education that a university like Harvard is allowed to impart upon its student body. If they get away with that, one could easily argue it does interfere with free speech. Remember, Harvard University just sued the federal government to throw functions. The Trump administration says it's action. Trump do that.
We already know all this part. Man, I thought you were going to be more interested in this.
Conservative institution. How about Liberty University in Virginia? Why are you not feeling the same way about conservative institutions? If you felt that way about both, on either side of the ideological bar, then there's no argument. The problem is, it only seems to be one side. That's problematic.
Wait, what?
Now that's Stephen A. It only seems to be one side. If you felt that way about both, Allison, Texas, Pepperdine University, these are institutions that some would say are conservative. I'm saying it shouldn't matter. If you feel that way about liberal institutions, why are you not feeling the same way about conservative institutions? If you felt that way about both, on either side of the
This is why it's dangerous, and this is why people like this piss me the fuck off. Show me when this happened to conservative institutions. Show me when did the Democratic Party reach down and try to utilize holding money and threatening conservative or religious institutions to teach what they wanted to be taught. When did that happen? Why are you saying this? This is it right here. This is the key part of that centrist bullshit that I fucking cannot stand, because it drives me nuts, because they do this like false equivalency thing. Where like, no, I just don't like the far left at all. I don't like extremes on any side. Well, let's see. What does the far right look like? Okay, Mussolini. Okay, Hitler. What does the far left of the United States look like? Communes? Veganism? No state at all? Like, even if you think that's bad, even if you think, like, yeah, if we got away, if we had no government, no class, no state, that would be bad, right? That's fine. You can think that. You could think that. But I want to talk about the intent that you have, like why you want the thing. So the far left extreme, even if you say Mao, by the way, even if you say Mao, why Mao did it was for his people. See what I'm saying? Like, why Castro did what he did was for the people to come out from under a dictatorship. A fascist dictatorship. So one side, even if you believe that they're going to fuck shit up, does it because they believe they're doing the best thing for the people. And the other side wants to commit genocide because they have... They believe in a different God. Like, don't tell me about, hey, if you're going to be mad about it for a liberal, you got to be mad about it for conservative. Who's doing it to conservative institutions? Where does this happen? It feeds into that stupid fucking lie, like, oh, maybe if you were allowed to pray in school, you can, you stupid fuck. Maybe if you're allowed to read Bibles in school, you can. There isn't a single fucking child that has ever tried to pray in school or read a Bible that was told you can't when it was appropriate to do so. You want to pray and read a Bible between every single period? Do it. You want to go during your lunch and sit in the library and pray and read a Bible? Do it. Yeah, exactly. Bro, you don't remember the time Obama held all that money from prison? Exactly. Yeah. And he forced Princeton to he forced Princeton to well, because remember, he was secretly Muslim, so he made them all like had to teach out of the Mecca, the Quran. I don't even want to listen to this dude anymore. It's not even talking about. I wanted to hear his opinion on Candace Owens, and he's not doing it. But you're right. I've said this before, but the far left on its worst days is annoying, and the far right on its best days is genocidal. Exactly. Now, I will say that you talk to some people, and the Nazis were the far left, because the ZI in Nazi is for socialism, and that means they were socialists. Oh, Lord. Fuck my life. Here's what's next. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show y'all what is next. Check this out. And yeah, there we go. Payday's coming up, and your boy has launched leftface.tv. Leftface.tv hosts Leftface Apparel that I launched about a week ago. These are stock, but I definitely want to get some models. Probably get my wife to wear some shirts, and we'll do something like this. Here are all our shirts. If you go to leftface.tv, you just treat this like any other apparel website. I do have a plan. Here, I'll tell you about it in a second. So we got the homegrown shirt. You let me zoom in? You're not gonna let me zoom in. Here, we'll do that. We got a homegrown shirt. You know, I think we all get the reference. So if you want to tell them you're homegrown, try me. Abolish ICE. Look, if my brown ass can wear this, you can too. Don't worry about it. If anything, you get to You got a nice little lawsuit. You get to be famous, and you'll be set for life. You got this one that I'm about to. You know what? I'll just announce it here. Between this shirt and another shirt I have, between this shirt and another shirt I have, I'm going to put profits towards something. The other one I don't have something. I'll take suggestions if you want. But this shirt, 100% of the profits to this shirt is going to go towards leftface.tv. It's going to go to me, to leftface.barrel. So here's the link in bio website that most of y'all got sent to the first time. It does have the shirts and stuff on there as well. But for this shirt, actually, you know what? I'm gonna make a Palestine specific shirt. So not this shirt. You'll know when I do it. When I'll put it up here. There's gonna be a shirt specific to Palestine that 100% of the profits will go towards the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. And there is I gotta go. I ordered a shirt. You did. You ordered a shirt. This shirt right here is, and I'll take some. So last week, somebody suggested this is a shirt. They want our rhythm, but not our blues. It took me some work. I wanted to find somebody who is in the public domain, right? So John Hurt is a blues musician, and his work and his likeliness is in the public domain because he was it's been that long. So I did this is called They Want Our Rhythm John Hurt tee, so he's definitely immortalized on it. I am looking for an institution to send profits of this shirt to, and I'm kind of like in the market right now. And so if y'all have an idea for that, let me know. Are any of the logos going to be available? What do you mean? Like, for Left Face TV? Yeah. My first one was to get the woke stuff out of the way. Don't forget, Mother's Day is coming up. Joy is radical. Don't wait until you die to be reborn. Did that myself. What else we got here? And we do have some hats. Hats with resist on it. A beanie with solidarity. And then obviously this one. So I'll make a Palestine one, specific one, and we'll do that. And if anybody wants to let me know what institutions they would want to see that. I'm still gonna do my own homework, but that would be for this shirt. So check it out. The logos profits can go to the Human Fund. Yeah, exactly. The logos, any shirt that says Left Face TV will go to the to the Feed Robo campaign of America. So yeah, check it out. Check it out if you're trying to support your homie. But then once I find the institute to support this shirt, because I definitely, when I made it, because I actually had I had an ethical dilemma. While making this shirt. I thought it was badass. I forget who last week said it, who gave this idea. I loved the idea, and I said, I'm going to do it. And as I was typing this out, I was like, they want our rhythm, but not our blues. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable making money off a shirt that talks about a rhythm and blues that is not mine, right? It feels kind of gross. So this one, and then that gave me the idea for a Palestine shirt. Is I know I'm mixed. I'm mixed race. I am. But I'll tell you, C. Rouse, I'll tell you, even if I grew up black and I consider myself Afro-Latino, this still wouldn't be me. Because this is even more specific. This isn't just about being black. This is about being African American or foundational Black American, if you'd rather. Like, this rhythm and blues is about the people who came here to the United States and were enslaved. Like, that's who created rhythm and blues. Not Jamaica, not not anybody in the Sudan. These were Black enslaved Americans who created rhythm and blues. So even if I was Afro-Latino, I still would feel uncomfortable. They want your rhythm, but not, yeah, but but then, like, I want the person wearing it, you know what I mean? I want to be talking about it's their shit, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, there'll be an institution that 100% of the profits will go towards that institution for anyone who buys this shirt. And then I'll make sure it says as much on there. And which will be easy because it's so easy to pull records out from the reports. And then once, like, I could pull up monthly, like, if the shirt was bought, boom, boom. Let's see what were the profit margins, because the shirt itself is $20. This shirt is $21 or $20 or something like that. And so the $6 on top of it is like a 20%. So yeah. If you were in center stack, would you have picked when he got cornbread? If you were in center stack, Stack would have picked you up when he got. Okay, yeah, my bad. So that's how you know I'm getting tired. I'm like, yeah, I can read through typos and shit, but man, now I'm like, center Stack would but bro, but yeah, I am fighting. I am fighting to give the spiel on how this is not about I know Black Poppy, because I know you all have heard it that many times. So I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. You haven't seen it? You haven't seen it? Oh man, you need to correct that immediately. God, that's this shit right here. This shit right here. Sinners is like, it's like, did you see Exorcist when it came out? Did you see, like, this is gonna be like a cultural milestone for the United States of America. Like, I'm telling you, you will have to have seen it. He's ready for his cut. I'm waiting for it to hit laser. You're a clown, man. Oh, you're a clown. All right. I said we were gonna do what you call it, brain rot, but as you could probably tell, my brain is fading. We are at 3 hours, so unfortunately, I gotta hit you all with ladies and gentlemen and NBs. I am Robo, and this is Left Face TV. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for being the Left Brigade, because that's what you all are now. And thank you for being soldiers in the movement. I know that the things that we talk about here every day, even if I want to try to keep it light, I can't. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to not talk about the shit that is on fire now because of Donald Trump. So thank you for coming here and putting up with that. If you feel like you need to do something, yes, we can say that protesting does nothing and that is slacktivism without a movement. But do something. If you find yourself just only ever living your life and complaining about what's going on, I'm not going to even really fault you for that, right? Because everybody has different, like, availability. But just know that you can do something. Like, don't think you can't. Even little things. You could phone bank for an organization. You can do fundraising for an organization. You can get out there and help an organization do the things that you need to see done in your community. Please get out there. Robo's Roughnecks. That might be a thing. That might be a thing. But I would definitely say this is Left Face Brigade. Nah, this is Left Face TV. Y'all are the Left Brigade. There's one rule. Everybody fights. No one quits. Do the work or I'll block you. Say, I don't know. I can't do the last part because I don't like empty threats and I like y'all too much. If I'm being honest, I'd be like, do the work. Or don't do the work. Whatever. Just come here. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Remember to take care of yourself as you're taking care of everybody else. Hydrate, get some sleep, wash your damn hands, like Ernie says. I love you all, and I'll see you all on Thursday for Nerds of Culture over on the YouTube channel Blurred Without Fear. If you're new here and you've never heard of that channel, we talk about nerd shit from a lefty perspective, from a progressive perspective on Thursdays at the YouTube channel Blurred Without Fear at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then, or I'll see you next week on Monday. I love you all. Take care.